What's going on, everyone? Robert from the remote control here, and with me today is Colton Bird. What's going on, buddy?
This fucking get up over here.
Yeah, it's quite the setup we have going on. But this is a special episode because we're going, we're in the holiday.
We're in the Hollywood.
We're in the Hollywood day, whatever. We're in the Halloween season, so everybody's talking about Halloween films. We already did an episode where we talked about our top 10 horror films, scary horror, films. This one, though, is going to be our top 10 comedy horror films because just as important as those horror, slasher, psychological thrillers are to the horror genre, comedy is also very important aspect of the horror genre. So
you're an important aspect of the horror genre.
Both Colton and I have come up with individual top 10 lists. I'm sure some of our movies will overlap at some point or something like that, but that's what we're going on with today. So I'm going to allow Colton to start us off with his number 10.
Coming in at number 10, I have any established sequel to a horror franchise. All sequels suck 9 times out of 10. They are awful.
But we're not sitting here saying what's awful. We're saying what's funny.
Well, they're so bad they're funny. That's how it is.
So are they funny that you'll go and watch them?
Yes.
Just to laugh?
Yes, because there's no storyline. They're just trying to milk the success of the first one.
What has been your the one that you've thought is the most ridiculous, the most funny of the franchises?
Texas Chainsaw, or no, The Hills Have Eyes too.
Really?
Yeah, it's just awful. You're trying to milk the success of the first one.
All right. Well, in that case, I guess we'll jump to my number 10 since there's not much to talk about with yours.
Just like last time.
My number 10 is...
This isn't what you think. Bob done fucked up.
What did my...
Bob, you done goofed it.
We went and screwed up here. Let me tell you.
Yeah, don't worry. We're just going to keep it in here, though, because...
Because why not,
Yeah. I mean, while we're already blaring our things here, my sound for my laptop needs turned up, too.
All right. So, sorry about that. My number 10 is this one here.
I think it is. Nobody stores cotton candy like this.
What are you talking about? Of course it is. Look.
Just watching that scene is hilarious. It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space from 1988. It's one of those movies that I saw when I was growing up, and I thought it was supposed to be a comedy, but it was really supposed to be a horror film because who's not afraid of clowns? But these clowns literally come from outer space. Their spaceship is a big carnival tent. I mean, it's just ridiculous. They capture people and put them in cotton candy and hang them in their spaceship. It's just fucking outrageous and ridiculously funny. And
that sounds like off the wall crazy.
It is. You've never seen it?
Nope.
Oh man, you have to check it out. Check it out at least once, just for the laughs, because it is hilarious. But definitely, I'd say that's my number 10. What is your number?
My number 9 is a little series I like to call Scary Movie.
So?
I can't sleep.
Well, it's way past your bedtime.
Won't you rock me to sleep in your big, strong arms? There's plenty of room under the covers. It's a hot night. You don't need to wear pajamas.
Where is my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter.
No, you're not. Come here. What did you do with Sue?
I didn't touch her, I swear.
I don't believe you.
Please, for God's sakes. She's a girl.
You sick.
Why were you rolling your eyes there, Bob?
Because it's like the worst possible one. If you're going to pick a scary movie, you should do this one here.
All right, well,
Who'd like some appetizers?
Oh, yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Hey, these buns look good.
Oh, yeah. And they're so soft and warm. Ray! Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
These are delicious.
Look,
Thank you,
Scary
my
Movie.
child. I made them by hand.
Scary
I
Movie.
fucking love that one.
Look, they've had some hits, they've had some misses in their franchise.
Okay, I think you mean the first two were good,
Okay, yeah.
and the rest were ass.
Like for me, Scary Movie 2 is my number 9, so it goes on with yours, with
Yes.
yours being number 9 as well. And I think, you know, the Wayans brothers, they've there was a point in film history that they were actually good and relevant.
Yeah, like
when it
don't
comes to comedy.
Don't sip your juice in the ghetto.
Don't be a
never-
menace in South
Yeah,
Central while
there-
drinking your juice in
yeah,
the hood.
there you go. Whatever, man.
Yeah, that's one of them. But Scary Movie, the first and the second one, I'm not a big fan of the first one. The second one is just hilarious. The cast that they got for the second one, I think, is by far the best cast. And I mean, come on, they had Tim Curry in it. Tim Curry is in a Scary Movie. You get Tim Curry in anything, it's going to make it good. So that's the way I look at it. What are your feelings on Scary Movie?
my strong
Take my strong hand. Sounded more like Herbert than
I know, like you can't do that voice and not just go. I was gonna pull a quote from the fifth one, but I was like, nah. First and second one, even that one was kind of pushing it. I didn't
Yeah.
care for the third one either. I don't know. They were just funny.
Yeah. I mean,
Like they were
definitely.
more spoof movies than scary movies, but
Well, that's the whole point. I mean,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be spoof movies, and unfortunately, Scary Movie spawned all of those spoof movies. You know,
yeah, you
with
got
that-
epic movie, superhero movie.
Yeah, and those things were just horrid. You know, the first two Scary Movies are probably the best out of all of those spoof films.
I think epic movie has like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Actually, speaking of it,
Why don't you just then skip to your number 8 since both of our number 9 was the same thing?
my number 8 was My Super Psycho Sweet 16.
And
Just psycho.
Chloe? You psycho skank! You ruined my party! It wasn't me!
Let's move over.
This October.
Yes, you heard it here first, people. This October, a movie that is 6 years old is coming to theaters. Nah, it's you know, like the TV show My Sweet 16. It's a spoof of that,
Okay.
making it a horror movie. It's actually MTV became like self-aware. It's produced by MTV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like the irony of it all is hilarious.
yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know if the MTV. I don't know if I could stomach it, but maybe one day if I'm bored, if I see it on, I might watch it.
You should be like Wait, what? My Super Psycho Sweet 16. There we go. Because it like doesn't. My life's a train wreck right now, man.
All right, moving to
Your number
my
8.
number 8.
I'm chilly.
Okay, guys, that's it. Let's
So-
go. We got a job.
Cabin in the Woods, actually produced by Josh Whedon,
Who's that?
known for the Avengers, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all that kind of stuff.
You don't say.
He and the crew that made this movie, Cabin in the Woods, did something that hasn't been done in a long time. They made a genuinely fun horror movie because it is actually, at its root and core, a true horror film monster movie, and that's what's fun about it. But it gets even better whenever you find out the big twist in the movie and what's going on with it and everything at the very, like, not the very end, but the last like 20 minutes of the movie, it just goes off the rails. It's just a fun fucking time, and I tell everybody who has never seen this movie to watch it because you will not be disappointed, because it takes a lot from famous horror films of the past, like Evil Dead and slasher films, like, you know, Friday the 13th and stuff, and it brings it into a setting that they can make fun of it but not spoof it.
Yes.
You know, and that's what is so good about it. So definitely check out Cabin in the Woods. It came out in 2012.
Nice. It's only a couple years old. My number 7 is a classic. It's from 1986. So your time.
Yeah.
household in America. That's what you had in mind all along, isn't it? No shit, Sherlock. We're not talking about one hungry plant here. We're talking about world conquest. And I want to thank you. You ain't the only thing I ever loved. You're a monster, and so am I. It's gotta end. It's gotta stop right here.
Better wait a minute. Hey, hold the phone. Better mind your manners. Better change your tone. Don't you threaten me, son.
I'm trying to pause it, but it's just not working for me. I'm not. It's just it's a fun little movie, fun little film.
Called?
Oh shit! I never did that. Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, Little Shop of Horrors. Come on, Rick Moranis.
That was like the prime of his career.
He's a comedic legend. I mean, when you talk about films that he's been in, there's going to be another film that I know we're both going to talk about that he was in on our list. You have movies like Spaceballs, and he in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I mean, he was a comedic legend. Little Shop of Horrors, I know, it's on your list and everything, but it's a great movie musical.
Yes.
It's one of the best ones, I think. So definitely honorable mention for me, not on my top 10 now.
Is it because you touch yourself at night?
Possibly.
Oh, Bob. I'll touch you at night.
My number, what are we on?
Are we not? Are we going to ignore that? 7.
Number 7.
Yeah, well, we weren't in hell. I mean, there was this big bright white light at the end of a long tunnel, right? And there were all these chicks' voices and that music.
Music? Yeah, kind of uncool music like Enya. And these chicks' voices, they were saying, "Come to us, come towards the light."
So what happened? Oh, we figured, fuck it. I mean, it was really far.
Oh, man. So back in 1999, Seth Green, when he was still kind of a young actor, was in a movie called Idle Hands. And it's just a hilarious stoner black comedy horror film. Like it's hilarious. It's good times. There's really not much to say besides that. I mean, it's your typical late 90s, because it was kind of like, remember back in the 90s when they had all those teen movies like American Pie, stuff like that. So think of something like that.
Can't
just
relate.
Put into the horror genre, and it's kind of what this movie is. Just the comedy like that. So
I can't relate. I was born in 96.
All right, what is your number 6?
A little film called Warm Bodies. Okay, so that quote was really low, but it was going on about how he ate her boyfriend. And she's going on about her boyfriend. He's thinking like the internal monologue, I ate him. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, it's more of a sappy romance movie.
And honestly, it's not that bad. There are some
okay
comedic
movie.
Parts in that. It's one of those zombie films that,
isn't really a zombie film.
It is and isn't exactly. If you haven't checked out the movie, check it out, because it's actually pretty decent. Because the zombies are kind of self-aware throughout the movie, which is kind of interesting. So, and then the main premise is that a live human actually falls in love with a zombie.
Yeah,
and then kind of going through that journey. So.
Yeah, no, it's a train. It's a train ride. There we go.
Train ride. Yeah, it's a good time. Now, my final 6 through 1. Actually, these should be just top 5. I couldn't figure out which one I wanted 5 through 1. It's kind of tough. Like, these ones can all be interchangeable at any time for me for the most part, except for number 1. I'll say 5 or 6 through 2 are all interchangeable. Number 1 is pretty much number 1.
Are they?
But my number.
That is why I won't do 2 shows a night anymore, babe. I won't do. Well.
The 1988 classic Beetlejuice. Look, if you talk to me, if you know me, I am not a big Tim Burton fan. I'm just not a big Burton fan. However, there's about 5 or 6 movies that he has done in his career that I absolutely adore, Beetlejuice being one of them. Growing up, I watched Beetlejuice probably as much as I have watched Star Wars, because it's just one of those movies I absolutely love so much. It absolutely is. It's a cult classic. It's one of those movies that it put Michael Keaton on the map for me growing up. I know a lot of people say Batman. Look, I watched Batman and loved Batman as a kid, but I didn't really know who was Bruce Wayne, who was Batman. And then when I watched Beetlejuice, I was like, holy crap.
You knew who he was.
I was like, okay, that's the guy that played Batman. But man, Beetlejuice, he's hilarious, that kind of thing. And that's the way it worked for me. Years later, I can look back and be like, well, it was Michael Keaton. I was like, hey, that's Batman. But it was Beetlejuice who put him on the map for me growing up. And again, yes, I know Beetlejuice came out before Batman. I get that. However, you got to remember, I was only like 2, 3, 4 years old when all this stuff was coming out. So it was later in my life that I saw a lot of it.
I was non-existent.
But again, it's one of those movies. If you're going to talk about horror comedy movies, you have to watch Beetlejuice. That's all there is to it. You have to watch Beetlejuice. And if I say it one more time, he's going to come here. So I'm not going to say it again.
Do it. Beetlejuice.
What is your number 5, sir?
Number 5 is a little film called Gremlins.
Christmas carolers. I hate Christmas carolers. Screeching boys, little blue sniffers. I warned you, friend.
I just like hearing old women scream in terror.
My number 5 also is Gremlins. So
we're doing some crossovers.
We're doing some things. This is my scene.
No.
What happened?
He hates bright lights.
So Gremlins is a great movie, and with talks of there possibly them making a third one, not a reboot, but actually making a third one. I'm real excited about it. But a lot of people, you can sit there and talk about Gremlins. It is more of a Christmas movie because it does take place during the Christmas time, but it is a horror comedy film because there is that horror aspect of the Gremlins and the Mogwai and stuff like that. So again, it's an excellent movie. I absolutely love it. Came out in 1984, many years before you were born, and only a couple years before I was born.
About 12.
But I enjoy it. I'm glad. It's kind of cool that our lists kind of match up on some aspects there.
We are. It predates you like a couple years, and it's like half my life. My next one, if I'm not mistaken, is ranked a tad bit higher on yours. And my number 4 is Ghostbusters.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
I was hoping we would have heard one more growl or two out of them. But, yeah, no, Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Another cult classic.
Classic film. I will get to that because it is a bit higher on my list, but we will definitely get to that. Excellent movie.
So,
what is it? What does Ghostbusters do for you, though? Like, what is the big thing that I mean, we've had Ghostbusters 2, and then we had that remake, which I still haven't yet to see. But what I mean. When you think about the Ghostbusters, what is
it was a light-hearted horror film. Like there were ghosts, but not really anything that was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure for the 80s.
80s, yeah.
It was like, oh my god, this is terrifying, and cutting edge technology. But now it's like,
I mean, I think it holds up pretty well. I mean, some of the special effects aren't amazing, but I think it holds up.
You would see it on like Netflix or something.
Yeah, I mean, and again, another, like I said, Rick Moranis, excellent actor in that. But the cast of Ghostbusters is fantastic, and I'm going to talk more about it in a little bit here.
Yeah, but I couldn't remember half their names. That's why I wasn't going to say it.
Let's see, my number 4. Oh, come on. I mean, this is just an absolute classic.
See this? This is my boomstick!
Army of Darkness. The third film in Sam Raimi's Army of Darkness or Evil Dead series. You had Evil Dead 2, then Army of Darkness. Fantastic movie. I absolutely adore it. I watch it every Halloween season. Not that it's exactly a Halloween movie, but it does have the horror aspect behind it. Just so much fun to watch. And, there's something about the character of Ash that is just so fun to watch and go through the journey that he went through from Evil Dead all the way through this. I unfortunately have yet to watch the Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that
on
like a
Stars
TV
or
show?
Showtime? I haven't gotten to see that, but once I get a chance to see it, I can't wait to. I've been wanting to for the last 2 years, but that is my number 4. What is your number 3, sir? Probably the same as mine.
Well, I don't think so. Mine is more of a general thing. Most older horror films that effects don't stand today. Like I can't even I can't think of a good example, but like Pet Sematary, for example.
Okay.
How the effects look god awful today. They're so in their time they were scary, and don't get me wrong, they have a scary premise, but the effects just make it laughably bad.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely went a different route with a couple of your answers going with,
well, because they're
sequels and stuff
general
like that.
statements.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, there's some horror films from the past that I could sit there and I'll watch and laugh at how horrible they are, but that's more out of just why am I watching this? Why, I will turn it off usually, at least for me. That's how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you going to turn it off real hard?
All right, so the next one is, for me, my number 3.
Expiration date. Someday very soon, life's little Twinkie gauge is gonna go empty. Time to nut up or shut up.
So Zombieland, coming out in 2009.
Such a good movie.
Again, like I was saying in the last podcast, or our horror films one, our top 10 horror films, the zombie genre really picked up steam in the early 90s, and this in 2009 pretty much ended it. We haven't had anything good zombie-wise since Zombieland came out in 2009, but it's good old fun. It poked fun of the zombie genre while treating it and taking it serious at the same time, which is a breath of fresh air. And obviously the big moment in that movie with Bill Murray was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This was Emma Stone before she was an award-winning actress, but still damn hot. You know, you have Jesse Eisenberg before he's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, post Facebook.
No, this was...
Was he in
Facebook?
Facebook?
He was in The Social Network. This was before then.
Was it?
Yeah.
I still can't believe this movie's been out for 8 years.
Yeah. But again, the movie, fantastic. So that's my number 3.
My number 2 here, and I'm kind of disappointed that Zombieland's number 3 on yours, just saying. My number 2 is Shaun of the Dead.
So, what's the plan? Right. We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mum's, we go in, take care of Philip. I'm so sorry, Philip. Then we grab Mum, we go over to Liz's place, hole up, have a cup of tea, and wait for all this to blow over.
Why have we got to go to Liz's?
Because we do.
She dumped you.
I have to know if she's all right.
Why?
Because I love her.
All right, gay.
All right, gay. My number 2 also.
I fucking love that movie.
It is also my number 2, Shaun of the Dead, which is the first movie in the Edgar Wright Cornetto trilogy or Cornetto trilogy.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
A fantastic movie. Absolutely, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost work so well together.
That chemistry between the two is amazing.
And without that, this movie would not be what it is. Then you have Bill Nighy in it, and I can't remember the actress's name. But anyways, the actors in this movie just make it so fun to watch. And again, it's one of those movies that they take the zombie genre, make fun of it while still taking it serious. And they do it so well. Again, this movie came out in 2004, believe it or not. That's
I can't
crazy
believe
to
it.
think. But I'm going to play my clip because I like my clip too.
Excuse me.
I was gonna pick this one.
Excuse me? Hello? Oi! Hey!
Oh my God. She's so drunk.
Yeah, so that was my number 2, and we'll go with your number 1.
I think we may have mentioned it already. It is what they call Zombieland. Almost picking up immediately after yours.
He sets the standard for not to be fucked with. No fear, nothing to lose. What can I say? It's like art.
You got a purty mouth.
Don't swing, don't swing! Swing!
Okay, I started watching the clip. I'm sorry. But it's just such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just talked about it, but again, it's a great movie, good fun. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. My number 1, and it's one that we've already talked about before, but
When someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
I mean, there's only so much you can. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. You can say so much about this movie. Ghostbusters encapsulates horror comedy or comedy horror film genre. Back in 1984, when this came out, you had powerhouses of Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Rick Moranis, and then you had Sigourney Weaver in the mix, Ernie Hudson. You have this cast that's just phenomenal. Then you take a premise that, in all accounts, should be just hilarious and funny, and it is in so many regards, but they treat it seriously. Because they treat it seriously, and then the actors you have, that's where the comedy comes from. Bill Murray, yes, you can say a lot about him, but this was the pinnacle of his career, in my opinion. This was this. If anybody's ever like, hey, give me a Bill Murray movie that I need to watch,
Zombieland.
Ghostbusters. Because Zombieland makes no sense if you've never seen Ghostbusters. You need to understand where Bill Murray's come from, because the whole play on Bill Murray in Zombieland is just his illustrious career.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea. You take a look at Harold Ramis. Now, Harold Ramis as the actor has done some amazing work, but he is best known for Ghostbusters. Yeah, he was in Stripes with Bill Murray. He was in Knocked Up as Seth Rogen's father. But people don't really remember Harold Ramis for anything else but Egon in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
As a director, he did Groundhog's Day, which was an amazing movie, and he did a bunch of others as well. Then Dan Aykroyd. I mean, what has he done since then? Ghostbusters, he's done a lot. I mean, he's been in a lot of things, but can you name
anything noteworthy?
Exactly. No. Yeah, he showed up as a Ghostbuster in the Casper movie. Besides that, can you think of anything else?
Unpopular opinion.
Nothing But Trouble. That. Yeah, that's a movie he was in. I mean, yes, he's been in a lot of things, but nothing as noteworthy as Ghostbusters. Now, Sigourney Weaver, she may be the only one that you could take out of Ghostbusters and say, give me a Sigourney Weaver movie, and most people are going to say,
what?
Alien.
Be like, what?
But,
did you say?
Ghostbusters is also there as well. That's in her top 3 list for sure whenever you're talking about Sigourney Weaver movies. So Ghostbusters, not only does it grab the idea of the horror comedy genre, but it's the pinnacle. That's what every horror comedy should strive to be, is Ghostbusters. Back in 1984, this movie came out, and it holds up today. Yes, the special effects aren't amazing, but the story, the idea of everything, it holds up. It's a good movie, and while the second one isn't as good, it's still fun, you know? I mean, who they had the Statue of Liberty walking through the city in the second one. I mean, ridiculous, but it's still fun, you know? And who doesn't like to like make fun of, you know, Vigo the Carpathian and stuff like that from the second one? So it is what it is. I haven't seen the remake or the new one or whatever they were calling it, reboot, whatever. Haven't seen it. I heard a lot of bad things about it. While I've also heard a lot of good, I just haven't wanted to. I think it's for me, I don't want to tarnish the Ghostbusters name because for me, Ghostbusters means so much to my childhood. I mean, watching it growing up, and bless you, Colton, you know, watching it as much as I did growing up. Bless you again, Colton.
Yeah, I turned off my mic for all that. Sorry.
So, yeah, number one for me is Ghostbusters. How about some honorable mentions? What do you got?
I have no honorable mentions.
No
I
honorable
struggle
mentions.
to put this one together.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Definitely an honorable mention for me. The original, not the TV show, the movie. The movie. The movie was one of those films that came out in the mid-90s that, you know, I watched and as a kid, and I was like, whoa, this is a weird take on the whole vampire, you know, genre and everything like that. I never understood it until I got much older, after I watched all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer on TV, because well, it's basically the same thing because Josh Whedon wrote both and you know, did everything with both. The movie was not what he was going for. The TV show is what he was going for. It's just the production company, the studio was like, we got to make it like this.
Yeah, and he was like, I can't argue with
it. It was very like 90210-esque type of feel to it, you know. And again, it's just it's a good. It's not good. I mean, it is what it is. It's an honorable mention for the horror comedy genre, in my opinion. So. That's for me. But if you have none, how about all of you listening? What are your top 10 favorite comedy horror? Top 5, top 10, whatever you want to list. Throw it in the comments below. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything you want. The Remote Control. You can find us on Twitter at The Remote Control, at The Remote CONTRL. You can find us on Facebook. Just look up The Remote Control Podcast. You can also find us at www.theremotecntrl.com.
You're a .com.
I am a .com. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully some of those movies brought back some memories. Hopefully maybe you're going to go check out some of those movies that we've talked about. If you didn't hear our other podcast where we talk about the top 10 horror films, check that one out because that's going to be on the podcast site as well. Subscribe to us, like us, you know, review us, that kind of stuff. Good times.
Do some fun stuff. Message us.
Yeah.
We'll take you out on a date. We'll love you real good.
All right. So I am Robert Slavinsky. With me was Colton Bird.
Hey.
And we will talk to you all later.
Have fun.